Get out. Shall we begin? What's happening, man? So, hold on 1 second. Alright. So in a couple of my last videos, I made a couple points. And this video is really just going to be how to strengthen the points I made with real life examples that are not involved in the content of those last two videos. Like, you know what I'm saying? With examples from personal experience that I've seen not in the public spectrum, right? So check this out, right? In regards to calling everybody and their mother a snitch, right? And how much that's like beyond frowned upon in like a prison environment, right? Even if you're like 1,000% sure, right? So I'm gonna tell you a story about a couple different snitches in my dorm. One of which that we actually think was an undercover cop. So first there was this one dude that we used to call Goggles because he claimed his name was Jungle. And there was really only one person we considered to be able to have the name Jungle in the dorm. And, yeah, basically dude was a weirdo, long story short. But he got a free TV. The LT delivered it to him. Like, he didn't have to go to property. The LT gave it to him. Like, that was always like a guarantee, like, this person's a rat. And even when we see that, we couldn't be like, yo, because it just opened the door. And he couldn't open that door. So, on top of that, there's this other kid, who I'm not going to name, who claimed to be from Waterbury, was really from Naugatuck, had a whole bunch of shit with what he was saying and whatnot, to where nothing he said added up. He claimed to know people, and then those people ironically popped up on the compound and had no idea who he was. I believe at some point even, my boy Zoo, who was from Waterbury, had gone out and like tried to, call home and figure out if anyone knew anything about this character. Nobody did. Every time someone who was a serious player from Waterbury would come in the dorm, he would immediately like go to them claiming that he had heard of them before. And so, like for example, there's this dude who really big, like in terms of like organizing shit, whatnot, behind the scenes in Waterbury, and that's exactly what he's like. I kept hearing your name, and it's like he don't know this dude at all, but he like the way he was acting, the way he claimed he knew shit about and knew people and shit. They put it like this dude, you would only know that this dude was really big behind the scenes if you were in front of the scenes or behind the scenes with him. His name was not ringing like that. His name was ringing if you brought it up, but his name was not ringing like that. It wasn't like, this dude was not like someone who was trying to be in the public spectacle because of the shit he was involved in a lot. So, this kid, long story short, it was to the point where this kid's dad and two of his brothers were both police officers. He told us this himself. His dad works narcotics. So, it's one thing, like I've seen it a lot where like, yeah, because it's a similar type of mindset, a lot of times you'll have either law enforcement or military people in the same family as people who's criminals. You feel what I'm saying? I'm adopted, but even my adopted family is high percent military. I don't have nobody who's law enforcement in my adopted family, but a high percentage of it is military. If I knew more about my biological family, there'd probably be a high percentage that was law enforcement or military related on that side. I know that my half brother, his dad used to be a cop. My half brother, I never met. Not only that, but I don't know how I forgot this one. I did the original record, but like my uncle, God rest his soul, the only biological family member I ever met on my dad's side, he was in the first Gulf War in '91 and shit. So there's usually in, like I said, in the same circles, the same families, there'll always be criminals, or people in the military or people in law enforcement. But usually when it's people in law enforcement, it's always like they're never in the same primary family unit as the criminal. Like I've never seen it where like the dad is he's a fucking full-time officer and the fucking kid's a criminal. I've never seen that. Like to the point where the kid has like an inmate number and shit. Like never seen it like that. See where like the dad's a cop and the kid's a bad kid. But like I've never seen it to like usually because the dad's the cop, he can stop it before it gets to an inmate number. Yes. Actually, on that note, my boy Matt, he's not really a criminal though. He's just a fucking dopehead. But his dad is the chief of police, or was the chief of police of I think Brookfield or something. So like there is people I've seen where it's like, yeah, their dad, but it's not like this kid's dad and both his brothers were cops, and his dad works narcotics. And it's not like just every time somebody would come in the door. I put it like this: he was really from Naugatuck. And if someone from Naugatuck who was not like there's like Waterbury's a city, so like the players that are big in that city are gonna be more like known than the ones from Naugatuck. They're not gonna be held as in high regard like in Naugatuck as they are. You feel what I'm saying? Unless they're like really like, they put it like this: me and the Snitxh, I was only held in regard in the Snitxh because like I was the only thing moving. Like there was nothing else like that out there. You see what I'm saying? So that's kind of how Naugatuck is, where it's like, yeah, there's shit that happens, but it's not that much. Where like if you were moving like I was in the Snitxh, you would be like, look, but still compared to Waterbury Legends, you wouldn't be looked at the same way. You wouldn't be looked at the same way. So it's like he could have someone who's like a big player from Naugatuck or who had a high profile case in Naugatuck coming to the door. He's not going to gravitate towards him the way he would immediately like. And keep in mind, it freaked out the dude who like, he was like, yeah, I heard your name ringing. I'm from that behind the scenes shit. And like, it freaked him out. Like I could tell because I watched the whole conversation. Like I could see his, and like the dude I was sitting with, Snitxh, my big homie, he saw it too. And he's like, bro, you see how his face just like, the moment he said like that shit, like how you know that shit? I don't know you. How the fuck, like that's something you're not even supposed to know. So there is, I guess, it runs in similar circles type shit. Not really, but it's like the way that the people, like that's why shit like police explorers exist and whatnot, because the mindset is so similar that if they can get the kid at a kid level, like in high school, to go and decide that he's going to go into law enforcement, which obviously not everyone with that type of mindset is. I mean, look at me. So that's where that came from, because they have a lot of the same traits. Like a lot of times the people who go into law enforcement is the bullies. The people who become like gang members and shit and become, felons and shit is the people who used to bully the bullies. So we were so sure with both these people, still we couldn't say shit about them being the police, them being undercover cops, none of that. And like, keep in mind, the thing with this kid that really set it off is that people, it's one thing if they, like usually what happens, they're cousins, uncles, someone where it's not direct family. I've never heard of another case except with military people. Like for example, I knew this kid whose dad was part of a Department of Defense. So it's like, there's shit like that. That's kind of something that happens, where it's like, there'll be kids who like, they get in trouble, but they dad in the military. But it's never like they get in trouble and their dad is a cop. I've never seen that. So for this kid to be in there, and he's the only person, and multiple people who've done much more time in prison than I have said, I've never heard of it, where your dad and both your brothers is police, but you wind up here. That doesn't happen. Like, and on top of that, it was the fact he claimed he was 23 years old, younger than me, but he's got a comb over. He's got a little bald spot he keep combing over. Now keep in mind, there's only 2 people, including him, who were balding at that age in my dorm. The only other person who was balding was 23 years old, looked like Gary Coleman, and was down for a body and wasn't coming home. I don't think he'd come home till 2026. So he have a reason to be balding. This kid, there was so much that didn't match up to the point the whole dorm was like, this kid not the D's, bro. What the fuck is he? And it was to the point, like, we didn't think he was just no regular rat. Like, we didn't think he was a CI. We literally thought he was an undercover cop that, like, they called to come in or some shit, because our compound is literally the most drug-filled compound in the state of Connecticut. Like, it is nicknamed Drugs, Inc. Carl Robinson is nicknamed Drugs, Inc. So, long story short, that's just to prove to y'all, like, how much you not supposed to do that, even if you convinced this motherfucker is a snitch without no paperwork. So, and then other than that, when it came down to why people run from the police, right? So I got some dude in the comments who thought he was being a smart ass, said, oh, you make a lot of good points, but every time you say never had to run from the police, that shit just is like, I forget how he worded it, but he's like, it detracted from it to him for some reason. And I said that, because he also said shit like, y'all are scared of getting put in cuffs. No, it's not that. Because I've gotten arrested anywhere from 40 to 60 times, and that's lowballing it, just estimating. I've had, out of that, that's like 35-ish convictions. You feel what I'm saying? That's like 35 convictions, like 40 to 60, maybe more than 60 arrests total. There's a couple cases that got thrown out, a couple cases that got beat in that mix. But I've only ran out of them 40 to 60 sometimes. I've only ran 2 or 3 times. You see what I'm saying? And every time it was because either there was circumstances in my personal life or something I had on me that I did not want to go get caught up for whatever I was getting caught up for right then. I wanted to wait and do it later when that either wasn't on me or I'd squared away whatever the fuck I had going on. Right? A lot of times on like cops and shit, what you'll see, when motherfuckers start just racing them, and it's a high-speed pursuit, what's in the car? Large amounts of drugs, usually at least one handgun, and a lot of cash. Like, one of them circumstances in which I would run is if I had just re-up, okay? I had $100,000 re-up. I'm on a long line of credit, and I've got a lot of work and a lot of money to pay back, and I'm not having that work get seized. No. We're not going to even have to talk about what comes after all that work gets seized. I'm not letting that happen. So I'm running. If I got it on me, I'm holding court in the street right there, because what's going to happen anyways if that work don't get, you feel what I'm saying? It's not happening. So because of this dude's semi-ignorance, it's crazy, man. The motherfuckers who always act like they so smart and they know everything is the most ignorant motherfuckers sometimes. I swear to God. Because, like, he's like, I don't get why would you run from the police? Bro, because there's some shit, I don't want to go to the feds. I'd rather not go to the feds. You feel me? If I have a strap on me, I'm going to the feds. I already have one gun conviction. I'm not getting a second one. Do you see what I'm saying? So if it came to a situation where, say, someone had, made threats, credible threats on my life, right? And I go out my way to get some shit I'm not supposed to have to defend myself, and the police just happen to light me up, what you think I'm going to do with them police? You think I'm going to just get out their car? Fuck no. You know what I'm saying? I don't think any of them situations which I would have ran is why this dude ran. But I'm just saying, it's not that I have no problem doing time in prison. There's just some shit I'd rather not have to go through. You feel what I'm saying? It's not nothing about being scared of no cuffs or nothing. When people run, it's usually because there's circumstantial shit that has to do with them wanting to run at that time. It's not... Sometimes it is a pattern of convict behavior where every time this motherfucker gets lit up, that's what he's going to do. But it's not, like with me, it's always been, did I have something extra on me when they weren't coming to get, especially when they weren't coming to get me for something extra, right? Say they were coming to serve a warrant for some other shit, and I happened to have a strap on me. That's the situation I'm gonna run. You feel me? I'm out this bitch.